Well, hello, my little triglets. Seems like it's been forever, but it's only been a few days. Hey, we're going to do section 6.2, and this is the sum and difference formulas. Sum and difference formulas. Okay, if you have something like p equals 2 sine 2t plus pi, you can see, oops, plus pi. There are two angles in there. They are added together. It has a sum of two angles. We're going to develop some identities here that involve the adding or subtracting of two angles. So I'm just going to throw one at you right now. Cosine of A minus B. The formula for that, you do not just distribute. Okay, this is not a number or a variable that gets distributed. It's a word, it's a function, it's a button on your calculator. You can't distribute buttons. So the formula is cosine of A, cosine of B, plus sine A, sine B. Okay, now that looks long and scary, but it's not too bad. If you want to see the proof of this formula, where it came from, you can look on page 654. Okay, I don't want to take the time to go through that with you. You just have to trust me that somebody in the past figured out this formula and now we get to use it. So, if I ask you to find the exact value of the cosine of 15 degrees, well, that's not on our circle, so we don't know it, but we do know 45 and we do know 60. We do know those values for sine and cosine. So what I'm going to do is make this equal to the cosine of 60 minus 45. And that right there is what these are. So my 60 is the A and the 45 is the B. So this formula right here, I'm going to write again, but this time instead of A and B, I'm going to put in 60 and 45. So cosine of 60 times the cosine of 45 plus the sine of 60 and the sine of 45. Now we actually have to think about our circle a little bit. Can never ever forget your circle. Here's 60. The cosine is 1/2. The sine is root 3 over 2. Here's 45. Those are both root 2 over 2. So plugging those in, cosine of 60 is 1/2. The cosine of 45 is root 2 over 2. The sine of 60 is root 3 over 2. Sine of 45 is root 2 over 2. All right, finishing up here, I'm going to multiply, get root 2 over 4, root 6 over 4. Together, that's root 2 plus root 6 over 4. Either answer is correct, so whichever way you like, you can just leave it. So that's one identity. There's three more. So I'm going to go to the next page, and we're going to write all four of them down together. So let's start with cosine of A plus B. That's equal to cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. All right, next one, cosine of A minus B. It's exactly like this one except with a plus sign. So cosine A cosine B plus sine A sine B. All right, now we did the two cosines. Now we'll do the same with sine. So I have sine of A plus B. These are a little different. So sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. And the last one, sine of A minus B. So we have sine of A cosine of B minus cosine A sine B. Now, yes, you're gonna have to memorize these, but I have a little trick that I will tell you in class tomorrow. Don't let me forget. That will help you memorize them very quickly. All right, so let's do another problem here. Let's say I want you to find the sine of 7 pi over 12. Again, that's not on our circle, but we can choose two angles that are on our circle that add up to 7/12 pi. So if I say, let's break this into 3 pi over 12 plus 4 pi over 12. Now the reason I chose those is because they reduce to two angles that I know from our circle. Okay, the next thing is I'm going to fill them in. So this is A plus B for sine. So we're looking at this formula right here. So I'm going to plug in the A and B. So sine of pi over 4 cosine of pi over 3 plus cosine pi over 4 sine pi over 3. Again, let's think of our circle. Pi over 3 and pi over 4 there. It's exactly what we did on the other problem, actually. So sine of pi over 4 is root 2 over 2. Cosine is 1/2. Cosine of pi over 4, root 2 over 2. Sine of pi over 3 is root 3 over 2. We get root 2 over 4 plus root 6 over 4. So it just kind of lucked out that we got the same answer twice. All right, I'm going to show you one more problem, and then we're going to write the tangent formulas down. But we'll wait to do an example in class about with the tangent. All right, here's a question. If sine of some angle A is 4/5 and it's in the first quadrant, and the sine of angle B is 7/25 and it's in the second quadrant, I want to find sine of A plus B and cosine of A plus B. And just for kicks, we'll find the tangent of A plus B. Even though we haven't learned that yet, I'll show you a little trick, a little tricky trick. Okay, so let's write down these formulas. Sine of A plus B is sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B. Let's fill in what we know. Now, we didn't do our circle yet. These are not numbers from our circle, but they are sides of the triangles. Remember, this is y and r, this is y and r. So in the first quadrant, I'm going to draw a triangle because it says first quadrant. As soon as I tell you a quadrant, go to that quadrant and draw a triangle. Don't even think of anything else, just go do it. Then look back at the problem and see what you can fill in. I've got 4 here and 5 there. 5 being the hypotenuse means it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So this is angle A. So underneath angle A, I'm going to put in what they equal. So sine of A, they gave us is 4/5. Cosine of A is 3/5, x over r. So I'm going to put that in. All right, the next part, I'm going to go in the second quadrant. So I'm going to just go and draw a triangle. Now look back. Y is 7, r is 25. So that makes x 24, but it's negative. 7, 24, 25 is another triple, like 3, 4, 5. But if you don't know that, go ahead and do Pythagorean theorem. All right, let's fill in what we have for those. So cosine of B is negative 24/25. And cosine, or sine of B is 7/25. All right, so multiplying, I get negative 96 1/25 plus 21 1/25. Altogether, that makes 75 1/25, which reduced would be 3/5. Okay, there's your first answer. All right, let's go and do the cosine one over here. So cosine formula is cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. I've already done most of the work, so I just have to plug things in. So for A, cosine of A, I can even look over here and see what I have. That's 3/5. Cosine of B is negative 24/25. Sine of A is 4/5. And sine of B is 7/25. All right, these two should always be different. You should never have a 5 and a 5 together, because otherwise you did something wrong. All right, this is negative 72 1/25. This is minus 28 1/25, which equals negative 100 1/25, which is negative 4/5. So that's cosine. So this is sine, and this is cosine. Now, because we know those, we can find tangent. We don't need the tangent formula, the big long tangent formula like this is the big long cosine formula. All we have to do is put sine over cosine, and that would be 3/5 from this over this, negative 4/5, and then just reduce, cancel, cancel, and I get negative 3/4. So that is the tangent of all that information. Okay, we're going to stop there. Tomorrow I'm going to show you the tangent sum and difference formula. In case we don't have sine and cosine like we did here, we will be able to find this 3/4 anyway. Okie dokie. Have a good evening. Ta-ta for now.